Yeah, I was kind of thinking about like us millennials, Generation X, baby boomers, the greatest generation, etc. Generations, millennials, and back have pretty high, for the most part, attention spans. And I was kind of wondering about this guy in Idaho. Now, one thing I'm wondering about people today is if not only the short attention spans of the kids growing up with the social media and the instant gratification, uh, but they're not really, they really can't eat any pressure. They really can't eat any disappointment. They really can't eat anything that's hard, you know? They really can't handle it. And so they really can't go through something long and arduous that's hard and painful, it seems like. So maybe a lot of these kids that kind of grow up in this echo chamber safety bubble of all these instant gratifications, when they get 18 to 20, they realize that everybody in the world is not there to service them, and a lot of these cats flip out and they can't pay attention for a long time, and they're not really getting wise, I think. That's just my theory. So they can't handle rejection, and rejection is a part of life, whether it's romantic rejection, sexual rejection, financial rejection, employment rejection, education rejection. That's just a part of life. Everything's not going to work out. Maybe for some people they get lucky and everything works out great and it's all perfect. But most people have to work at it. And I think maybe with the lower IQ of the latest generations, maybe with the gratification, they don't know any other world except the social media and the internet world. They don't know any other world besides a world that validates them. And then so when they get into a world that does not validate them, they lash out and they get angry because they have to face rejection, and they have to face hardship. I'm saying that previous generations seem to be able to go through hardship and obstacles and overcome through concentration, through long thought, through strategy, through critical thinking skills. It seems that the latest generations of folks don't seem to have those abilities anymore. It seems to be a vanishing skill. Patience, critical thinking, strategy. These seem to be almost ancient ideas now, unfortunately. And so do kids today think that if they go up to the hottest girl in school and that they're going to get that girl just because they want it? Tell me that's not true. Tell me that people actually do not think that whatever they want they're going to get in life. Tell me that people don't actually think that younger generations don't actually think that. They're going to get every job, every girl, every fucking opportunity, everything's going to be handed to them on a silver platter, and they're going to be just like the Wall Street fucking Yale and Harvard trust fund babies, and everything's going to be fucking flawless. Is that what they fucking think? Is that what people actually fucking think out there? Is that what this Generation Z actually thinks life is going to be like? One big fucking party parade? No, it's not. Some big fucking cakewalk where everything's just a walk in the fucking park? Mm-mm. Oh, no. And so maybe it is. Maybe it is if your grandma leaves $1 million for you, and you will. Maybe your life is kind of a cakewalk, right? And you go to Yale and you don't have to really give a shit, and maybe everything's going to be fine for you. But other people, just, working class people, no. Or middle class people, no. It's going to be a lot harder than that. So probably, the education system sucks and it tells the kids they're great. Like George Carlin said, get in there, it's just fucking physics. All you need is a fucking pencil. And they lower the passing grades and the IQs slip in the country just because they want to make people feel better. And so, barring the George Carlin monologue, this is why everything sucks. It's why education sucks. It's why nothing's ever going to get better. And so, be thankful for what you got. That's what George Carlin said, right, in his monologue. But I'm wondering, this kid could have been anything, The guy who killed the firefighters. And he didn't get into the firefighting school. Sometimes you don't cut it in the Marines, and you just have to take your licks. If you don't cut it in the fucking Marines, you just move on. If you don't get the hottest girl in the high school, you don't go kill everybody. Why are these kids not able to deal with rejection or failure? They're just not. If you wash out of the Army, you probably weren't cut out for it. It doesn't mean you're doomed. It just means, well, you weren't going to work out in the Army. So if you don't make it in the Top Gun program, if you don't make it in the Air Force pilot program, then you probably weren't cut out for it anyway. Right? I'm not saying you should celebrate being a loser or failing, but I'm saying, like, sometimes you do. Sometimes you make mistakes. So you shouldn't take that out on everybody else, right? And kill everybody. That's not right. That's evil. Sometimes things don't work out. Sometimes you're not going to get everything. Sometimes these new kids don't understand that it's not the end of the world to fail. It's not the end of the world to make a mistake, especially if you're... Why do kids now, in the internet era, in the information age, they think if they failed at like 15 to 25, their life is fucking over or something like that? Yeah. It seems pretty long to me. I guess life is pretty short, but it seems pretty long to me. If you didn't make it in the fire force, you could work harder and get into the fire department if you wanted to. If you really worked hard at it. If you can't pass the ASVAB for the Army, then you could work hard and study and then pass the fucking ASVAB and join the Army. If you're too fat or something, you could fucking lose weight and work hard and you could join the fucking Army or join the fire force or whatever. Yeah, so it is heartbreaking what happened in Idaho. Because these kids don't seem to deal with the hardship. They don't deal with life's rejections. They don't seem to deal with life's bittersweet fruits or sour grapes. And I'm not saying millennials are champions at that. I'm not saying Generation Z or Generation Alpha are going to be champions at it. I'm not even saying that baby boomers or the greatest generations are particularly good at handling life's lemons. But where is the fucking grit? Where is the toughness? Where's the concentration? Where is the discipline to overcome challenges? I am not seeing that with these latest batch of generations. Where is the fortitude, spiritually, mentally, and physically, to overcome challenges? I am just not seeing this with the latest generations. As evil continues to consume the world, I'm seeing less fight and more damnation. Why aren't the children learning to stick through things, either from their parents? Why are their parents and their education system failing us? failing them, the kids of today. Do we have to, as a society, take away all the children's smartphones until they're 16? Do we have to go back to books and tablets like our ancient ancestors? Take draconian measures to ensure the survival of the human brain and the evolution of the prefrontal neocortex? I guess we do. Sadly, it's obvious that the education system has failed us, and there's a reason why it's sabotaged, and the reason why education fucking sucks, because everybody cares about money, and they don't care about health or education. They haven't cared about that for a very, very long time, not just in this country, but in countries all around the world, in human civilization itself. So this is a broader problem, not just in the U.S. I mean, U.S. is an obvious example of it. But yeah, that's a grave problem, that people are not capable of critical thinking skills, deeply analyzing issues and problems on a critical, fundamental, step-by-step, logical basis, and being able to reason and handle it. Being able to handle rejection. Being able to handle loss, heartache, heartbreak, all that stuff. And still be able to be triumphant and overcome and succeed. Why does the youth of today increasingly lack those skills that maybe my generation and generations before us seem to have in spades? Maybe not totally locked down, but at least it's there somewhere in its raw, malleable form. Were people impressed by my vocabulary? I said malleable. I haven't used that one in a long time. Oh. IQs have dropped, but we're in the information golden age. We should be smarter than ever. Yeah, not so. Or at least that's what the tech overlords promised us, Bill Gates and Microsoft, Mark Zuckerberg, Meta, Facebook platforms, Jeff Bezos, Amazon. They did promise us the world, didn't they? Well, they're the ones that seem to own it all, though. Why do they have the $200 million weddings and we don't? Yeah, funny how that works. Ooh, all men are created equal. So the story goes. So we're told, the fairy tale, that all men are created equal. But the reality is we're not. Yeah. We're all the same. But we're not. We're one, but we're not the same. Got to carry each other. Do it again. Love's a temple. Love the high love. I don't know. I don't know that one. I mean, I know how it sounds. I grew up with that song, but Achtung Baby. Attention Baby, right? It's German. Achtung. Attention. Here's the irony, though. U2 released an album in 2004 called How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb. Yeah. And guess what? Biden gave billions of dollars to the Iranian regime to build a nuclear bomb. How ironic. They almost succeeded in building that nuclear bomb. So either Barack Hussein Obama is a Muslim and he hates America and he hates Israel and he wanted to destroy America or Israel or both, or they were paying off the Iranians billions of dollars to stop their nuclear program and they fucking did it anyway. But they were using that money to develop a nuclear weapon to destroy Israel or the West anyway, or European countries in the West or allies or the continental United States. So they were fucking whether Barack Hussein Obama and Joseph R. Biden wanted to destroy America and the Democrat Party, whether a global elite system wanted to destroy America and wanted to fuck us over, whether that was true or not. One thing that is certain is that even if Barack Hussein Obama and Joe Biden gave billions of dollars to the Iranian, the Islamic Republic of Iran, and told them not to build a nuclear weapon, we'll give you lots of money, like a bribe, even if that is true, they still said, fuck you, we're fucking doing it anyway. Ha ha ha, stupid Americans. So, I don't know which story is really closer to the truth. I'd like to think that the Democrats were stupid giving billions of dollars to a nuclear power and they were developing a would-be nuclear power. They wanted to destroy the West and Israel and they were going to use that as a way to control the Middle East and control, the fossil fuels and the energy of the world, and they'd become kings and all this shit, right? They'd be able to threaten Israel with a nuclear weapon. Oh, you fuck with us, then we'll launch our nuclear weapon at you. Ha ha ha. We got you by the balls. We got the Strait of Hormuz. Kiss our ass. China, Russia is on our side. Nah, 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 nah. North Korea, go fuck yourselves, right? We got the power now. Yeah. But I can't rule out that it's. So I do find it ironic that U2 they created an album called How to Dismantle a Atomic Bomb when they supported Barack Hussein Obama and Biden, who gave billions of dollars to a would-be atomic power that was going to wipe out Western allies, or at least wipe out Israel. Yeah, isn't that fucking that? To me, that's what they call irony. I think that's ironic. Yeah. Yeah, I did think U2 was great, and they were rebels, and I love their music. And then when they started sucking Bill Gates' cock and Bill Clinton's cock, I was like, this is not the rebellious Irish rock band I remember. So once they started licking Barack Hussein Obama's penis, I was like, this isn't quite the band. These aren't the people that I remember from the 1980s and the 1990s. This is not the band I loved. These aren't the people I love. These Biden supporters, these Barack Hussein, these Democrat, these Clinton supporters. This is not the band I remember. These aren't the group of people I remember, especially Bono. It's like I don't ever remember him being so for the system and for the globalists. It was, oh man, it was just fucking devastating. But I got over it. I realized, well, that's who those people are now. They support Obama and fucking Iran and anti-American. I mean, an Irish rock band that makes most of its bread and butter from America, goes so anti-Trump derangement syndrome and just so into just total, complete insanity and inhumanity as they become. They become just tools of a Luciferian global system. They've just become fucking robots. They're nothing like they were before. And it's sad to think what happened to you too, but that's what happened to them. Yes, my friends, they sold out. Not only did U2 sell out a little bit, they sold out big motherfucking time, like to the umpteenth degree, to an embarrassingly to the point where old U2 fans can't even go to a U2 concert. You can't even buy a album. You can't buy a DVD anymore because it's just so unfashionable that you can't even bring yourself to do it. So it's not even embarrassing. It's sad. It's really sad what they've done to themselves. It's not just embarrassing. It's despairingly sad that they sold out to Joe Biden and Barack Hussein Obama and the Clintons and George Soros and these global elites. It is pathetic and it's fucking sad. Most of all, it is starkly sad. I guess sad is the only word I could think. It's bleak, sad, depressing, all of those things. The great Irish rock punk band. And for somebody with Irish heritage and Irish blood, this is a traitorous sellout. But I guess globalists like Bono and Biden are selling out our brethren. It's sad when people that are with Irish blood and Irish heritage are selling their people out, and they're selling England by the pound. It's sad that they're selling our heritage out and our culture out. It's sad. It's unconscionable. It's wicked. It's evil. It's just traitorous, treasonous behavior. It's not that I won't continue singing U2 songs or trying to learn the songs or, I don't know if I'll buy any more records, but, I'll remember if somebody ever turns to evil, like I always remember the friend who turned to crack. I always remember them who they were instead of what they become. So I'll always remember Anakin Skywalker as the brilliant Jedi, and I will not remember him as Darth Vader. I will always remember my friend from middle school as not the crack addict, but as the guy with amazing physics grades and the guy that had all the football scholarships. I will always remember people as they were, and I'll try not to think if they've gone into a dark path who they've become, because that really depresses me, right? So, I mean, I will have to accept the reality of what they become, if it's dark and twisted. But that's I'd rather, it helps me to view them as their maximum potential, the goodness, the greatness of who they could have become and who they were, rather than thinking about, their ultimate dark fate. So. I mean, quantum physics itself is about particular eventualities and potentialities. So, I'd rather think about people and events the same way I would think about quantum physics, is that it has a whole bunch of different variations and things like the outcomes and possibilities that can be. And so when someone becomes a dark possibility, I always think there was a way where they couldn't. There was also a universe in which they're not a dark possibility. So as well. So U2 writes an album, How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb. And then they support Barack Hussein Obama and Joseph R. Biden, Robinette Biden, who fund Iran's nuclear program. And whether they do that, now the Clintons and the Obamas and Soros don't know what they're doing funding Iran's nuclear program. Well, that's a fucking investigation. That's a fucking whole universe of conspiracy within itself. Just that one thing. But I will say this. American people don't want to think that politicians and people in power are trying to willingly fuck over Israel and the United States and Western allies and Europe and the Quad, South Korea, Japan, Oceania, Australia, and the Philippines. But, the grown-up part of us must accept that some people that get power might want to burn us all fucking to hell down and destroy America, like Barack Hussein Obama. I mean, that's really a backdoor anyways, right? Yeah, he was born a U.S. citizen in Hawaii, but his dad was from Kenya, and he's a Muslim. So he probably wanted to destroy white people in America from the get-go. So I never trusted Barack Hussein Obama to begin with. It was a good bullshit story. Hope and change. And hey, guys, I love the white people and I love young people. I love America. It was a great fucking bullshit, acting gig. But when it really came down to it, that guy was more destructive to America than any previous president, since James Buchanan or Bill Clinton. The guy, Barack Hussein Obama and Joe Biden, were pieces of shit that set us back. They set our country back. They set it on fire. They fucked us over in a major fucking way. And they fucked white people over too. So. Now, it wasn't evident how much they screwed us over in 2008. Because that was coming off the economic, the Great Recession, where Barack Hussein Obama bailed out all the banks so that they could restore the economy. And how much did that cost? $7 fucking trillion in the national debt. Yeah. Okay. How much did the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan cost? George W. Bush, federal deficit increase $6.1 trillion motherfucking dollars. All right. When Newt Gingrich and Bill Clinton balanced the budget back in the 90s, they balanced the American budget and it was perfect. There was not $37 trillion worth of debt. But these endless wars, economic recessions, these Chinese plagues have put us into almost $40 trillion worth of debt. There was a time when the Democrats and the Republicans would work together to make sure that we had a fiscally sound economic policy and we had our debt under control and we had a balanced budget. But those days are long since gone. They've been gone for the last 28 years or so. Now, they would have had a continuation of the Reagan administration in 1992. The only reason why the Democrats got back in power is because the CIA, the former CIA head and the future president, George Herbert Walker Bush, he lied to the American people on live TV. And I guess he thought he was going to get away with it. He goes, "Read my lips, no new taxes." And then guess what? He raised fucking taxes really high. And the American people were like, fuck you, right? And so this guy from Arkansas, this guy who was cool and shit, he played saxophone. He was cool, man. It was 1990s, the good old days, right? Internet was coming out. Microsoft Windows. You had AOL Instant Messenger. And this guy's like, "Hey, don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop. It'll soon be here. It'll be better than before. Yesterday's gone. Yesterday's gone." He's like playing fucking saxophone and shit. This guy's a badass. He's like, "I never smoked marijuana. I did not inhale. I never wanted sexual relationships with a 24-year-old girl, young woman. I do not, in a married relationship to an old-looking hag with a daughter, ever dream of having sexual relationships with 25-year-old women. Never, ever do I fantasize about such things. Because I'm the President of the United States of America, goddammit. You better believe that. I never want to have sex with young women. Even though I'm not gay. Because I was President William Jefferson Clinton. I didn't smoke weed. I did not inhale. I smoked. See, a guy gave me a blunt and I smoked it, but I did not inhale the marijuana, THC vapors within that particular marijuana cigarette. Fucking genius. Well, he was a great public speaker, though. Even though he had the Arkansas, the Bubba accent. Bubba. I'm the Bubba from Arkansas. He was actually smarter than Bubba. He was a little bit better. Because, sometimes when I was in Arkansas, some of those guys would be like, "Hey, what y'all doing there?" He'd be like, "Hey, I'm Bubba." Like sometimes I'd be like, "Oh God, that's a little bit even too redneck for me," Like, "Hey, what you doing down there, boy?" Like, yeah, but you know what? William Jefferson Clinton wasn't that scary. He had like a Harvard or Yale education. He was kind of, his accent was kind of cool, right? It wasn't like, "Hey, what y'all doing? Hey, you ever watch Deliverance?" No, it wasn't like that. He had a cool like, "Hey, what's up?" Hey, you work at the donut shop, huh? Yeah, $5 an hour. That's a hard-working American guy. Because I saw Primary Colors in Washington, D.C. It was interesting. With John Travolta. So, Bill Clinton had a accent that was kind of like he had been well educated in Harvard or, Yale or somewhere. But like, it was kind of charming. He had a little bit of Southern accent. Kind of a little bit charming, right? Yeah. He was like, hey, I don't smoke weed. I don't inhale. I don't have relationships with 23-year-old women. I'm married. I don't get my dick sucked in the Oval Office. Y'all crazy. Pretty entertaining motherfucker, though. You know what? In terms of presidents, though, that is an entertaining ass motherfucker. Seriously, that was one of the most entertaining motherfucking presidents since President Trump. That guy was an entertaining motherfucker, wasn't he? When he wasn't selling out America with NAFTA and world trade to China and selling out the manufacturing base in America, when he wasn't selling out Americans, man, he was hilarious. He was like, oh man, I gotta avoid going to McDonald's. And he's like, I did not inhale that weed. And he was kind of funny, right? It was like a funny dude, man. Seriously, dude. I don't like 23-year-old pussy. I don't like the taste of pussy. That is too tangy for me. I don't like sucking on titties. I don't like gold. Fuck that. I don't like being a millionaire. Fuck that shit. I don't like bitches butt naked. What the fuck y'all talking about? I don't like fucking McDonald's double cheese. Y'all fucking crazy. I did not inhale the marijuana cigarette. Yeah, man, that guy was, when he wasn't selling out America with World Trade NAFTA agreements, when he wasn't outsourcing American jobs and manufacturing out to India, China, and Mexico, the guy was a pretty entertaining motherfucker, right? Besides selling out and betraying and being a traitor to the entire American people, he was, on TV, kind of a charismatic dude, right? A well-spoken dude. Well, I don't really like coitus. I don't really like sticking my face in a woman's pussy. I don't think I really like that. That seems to be a deal that other guys like. I really don't like butt fucking and stuff. I think other dudes like that kind of shit. I don't like donut burgers. I think I think other guys like that kind of shit. Hey. William Jefferson Clinton. Wow. An Arkansas American treasure. Yeah, it was funny about Bill Clinton because he would lie on TV, right? He'd be like, I never smoked a weed. He's like, I never even... Y'all, the press said I had Jack Daniels. I never even drank nothing. I didn't smoke nothing, I didn't drink nothing. I never had sex, even though I have a daughter. Wait, hold on. I can't tell him I never had sex because I have a daughter. Yeah, that's right. Hold on. How do I lie to the press? I never had sex, and I never enjoyed sex, but I have a daughter. Yeah, that Hillary, man, when she was like 18. You You'd hit it too. Hell yeah. Yeah, the Hillary 2016, you're kind of like, you get lip dick when you see that, right? You're like, yeah, that's true. Now, guys, if you see the old lady and you think, man, nasty, just think about her when she was like 19, though. Okay, just entertain yourself. Like, just time travel in your mind. Like, be like, you know what? Yeah, you might see a hag. You might see something nasty like Hillary Clinton in a pantsuit. You might be like, my boner's going down. But think about what she looked like when she was 20, though. Now, that'll help you. I'm not saying you should sleep with old ladies. What I'm trying to say is think about what she looked like 20 years ago, like 30 years ago. Think about when she was in her fucking prime, right? She wasn't some old fucking emotionally unstable fucking bitch. She was probably some hot, sweet girl, right? Okay? She probably wasn't some post-menopausal emotional train wreck, right? You know, probably some of these women that you're like, they were probably like awesome when they were like, 21 or something. And then, the wheels of time and fate and depression and heartache and heartbreak and breakdown and disappointment, it just took over, right? So let's show some sympathy for people. That's what we're taught, right? We're in college, like, have sympathy for people. You never know what they went through, right? So they say, don't be quick to judge. So maybe they say that in the Bible. Maybe they say that in college. Maybe they say that in human peace class or something. But don't be quick to judge. But be quick to understand. Yeah. I always take that one. I always try to apply that to my life. Like, when I'm in all these psychology classes and stuff like that, they're always telling me, like, you never know what those people have been through. I'm like, that's true. Why judge them real quick when I try to understand first? And maybe that's better. Yeah. Maybe that provides more peace for the world if I try to understand people rather than judge them first upon first sight glance. It's probably true. Without any kind of analysis. Yeah. I guess that's a good idea to foster peace. Judge, lest we not be judged, as Billy Joel would say. So Justin Timberlake got fucked up and he got arrested with a DWI. And then the press went after Billy Joel. They were like, Timberlake got fucked up. And then Billy Joel, all he said was, perfect Bible quote. He just said, judge not, or lest you shall be judged. And I was like, wow. I was like, that's a sign of a mature man. Not that he's doing Bible quotes, but that he's like intellectually using Bible quotes. I was like, that's my real hero right there, Billy Joel. I know it comes from the Northeast and I come from Texas, but that's the magic of America, is that we're a United States of America. And so I could admire somebody from Oregon, or I could admire somebody from New York, or they could admire me from Texas. That's the magic of America, is that we could admire all the people in our union, our states. And the magic of America is that we could admire people all around the world. The magic of America is like the unity of America, right? So that's why I can keep on buying the Billy Joel records, and I can keep on listening to Billy Joel's, interviews and stuff. I can keep on admiring him and keep on trying to, gain some kind of wisdom, right? So I'm not from New York or Jersey, but a lot of people come to Texas from New York and Jersey. So I'm not a Jersey or New York or DC. I just lived there for a little while. I'm not a northeaster, but I understand. I knew my aunts from Maine and stuff like that, but I had some people from Rhode Island. I guess I guess the Wheelers are mostly from Ohio. I never even been to Ohio, you know. So my brethren from Ohio has always come down to Texas to visit me. I never actually visited them. So anyways, there's a lot of different connections that I haven't explored. But it'd be fun to go see what's going on, right? So that'd be cool. Would it be cool to go to Ohio? Well, if the girls have big titties, maybe then. But see, Texas girls have a lot of big titties, so it's hard to go to other states because they have so many pretty girls here. So that's what I'm saying. Why would you want to go to see Ohio titties if you can stay in Texas and there's like really huge titties? No, all I'm saying is like, why? Come on, they have like hot country babes in Texas. Why would you abandon the hot country babes? That'd fucking be bogus. What would even be in Ohio? I went back to Ohio, but my city was gone. Is that Joan Jett and the Blackhearts? Went back to I do like that song. Hey, where did you go, Ohio? Dun, 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 dun. It's not Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. It's the Pretenders. Chrissy Hines. Hey, oh, where did you go, Ohio? What is Tahoga Falls? Hey, oh, where did you go, Ohio? Yeah, actually, I saw the Pretenders. It was before the Who concert in 2007. I was so happy it was the Pretenders and Chrissy Hines. Oh my god, it was the best fucking rock combo. I was like, this is the best fucking lineup like ever, like I ever wanted to see. Hey ho, where did you go, Ohio? Dun, dun, dun. I don't have midget phobia. It's just when I was a kid, my cousin Eddie from Ohio came and he's a midget. He's a dwarf. Dwarf is not in my genetics. I mean, yeah. What if I had a kid and it was a dwarf? I'd be like, fucking dwarf? What the fuck? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not shortophobic But anyways, when I was like 8 years old, there's, somebody like in the far side of the family called Eddie, cousin Eddie, and he's a dwarf. And my grandma was like, hey, Eddie's back there. He's a dwarf. And I was like 8 or 9 years old. I swear to God, this is what happened. He came back from the trailer, and I was fucking like so scared meeting a midget. Like, I was tripping, right? Because I was like 9 years old or something. I was like, a midget, a dwarf. I was like, Grandma, what the hell? But I was sweating balls because I'd never met a midget before. I don't have midget phobia. I'm just saying, like, what happened was cousin Eddie's a midget. That's not a usual thing in my family to have midget or dwarves, but he's a dwarf. You know what I'm saying? Like Peter Dinklage. And I was like, oh, fuck, man, I was sweating balls. Because I'm like his size, but I'm like 9 years old. And the dude come out, and he's like he's like 4 foot tall like me, dude. I'm like 8. And the guy's like, hey, what's up? And he has a mustache and shit, like Peter Dinklage. And I'm like, oh, fuck. For real, dude. I'm not making this shit up. I'm telling you the truth, what happened. But cousin Eddie from Ohio is very creative. He's one of the first guys, that got into computer graphics. Cousin Eddie probably got more ass than me because, I was child molested by Mexicans when I was a little kid. So he Yeah, probably midgets are having more sex than me at this particular time, unfortunately. Yeah, even midgets are having more sex than me. You know what? That's just the way it is. Sometimes dwarfs gotta get laid. You know what I'm saying? All the tall, handsome guys can't get laid all the time, right? Sometimes the dwarfs gotta get some punani. You know what I'm saying? I'm not anti-dwarf. I'm just saying, when my family told me like my cousin Eddie was coming down, and he was a dwarf from Ohio, I was like, yeah, I was in a bad state. And I was like, because I was like 8 or 9, because like I had seen dwarves in like movies like Wizard of Oz and Munchkins and shit, but I never seen one in real life, so I'm like, oh god, fucking dwarf, like what the fuck? I mean, so the thing for a kid that's traumatic about a dwarf is that it's like an adult, but it's like the size of a kid, and that's a trip. You know what I'm saying? That's the part that was tripping my mind out. That I was like, oh god, I'm not prepared for this, dude. But thank God I was just like, oh, okay, don't be dwarfish or dwarfist. Don't be racist. No, it's not racist. It's like, don't be heightist or something like that. So I was just like, okay, don't be that. You know, you can be racist, you can be ethnicist, you can be foreignist, or you can be whatever it is you want to be, but you can't be this, right? You just gotta deal with this shit, dude. That there's midgets. You just have to deal with it. And I was like, okay, I have to deal with it. There's fucking dwarves. I'm just gonna have to accept this. That there's hobbits and dwarfs and halflings and shit. Okay. Alright, I feel so much better. I'm able to fucking cope with this, dog. Because at first I was fucking sweating ball bricks. So Eddie was this super creative guy like me. You know, I can tell he's my relative because he's super creative and he's always painting and he's always doing stuff like. I can tell he's my relative because he's always like coming up with songs and but he's like one of the first guys that was doing like computer art. So then for all my birthdays, he would always send me "Love You, Cousin Eddie" from Ohio, and then he would do the computer art, you know, and man, it was amazing, yeah. Sorry that I was a tall guy over 6 feet tall, and that I had midget. It wasn't really midget phobia. I think what happened was my grandma was like, "Hey, your cousin Eddie's coming," and then I was like 8 years old, and I was like, "Oh, okay, Grandma, that's cool. I can't wait to meet him." And then she was like, "He's a dwarf," and I was like, "Oh," you know what I mean? Like my grandma always had that habit of like trying to like scare me and shit. Like, there's a midget coming. And I was like, oh fuck. Like she should have told me earlier. She should have been like, hey Scott, yeah, there's this kind of people called midgets, and they're called dwarves, and they're like halflings, and they have a genetic thing where they're like half people and stuff, and they're like, but they look like adults. Like she didn't explain that to me at all. She's just like, hey, yeah, your cousin Eddie's coming. And I was like, oh, yeah, my cousin Eddie, yeah. You know, because I was like 9 years old. She's like, he's a midget. And I was like, what? Fuck that. I was like, if I could fucking leave right now, I'd fucking leave. But I'm fucking 9 years old. I'm stuck in my grandma's house. So this is what I got to fucking deal with, dude. Oh, fuck. But thank God, yeah. I know she kind of hyped up that the dude was a midget a little bit too much. Like it was too much, like like anticipation. It was like, come on, dude, it's gonna be a midget. What do you think it's gonna be? It's gonna like if your grandma tells her grandchild, you know, like, hey, there's a midget, you know, your midget relative's coming. Like, get ready. and then he's like comes from the back of the trailer or the back of the house or something. It's like, dude, that's too much fucking like. Can you imagine if like Peter Dinklage, like his tall relatives were like, yeah, we got Peter Dinklage, yeah. Well, yeah, he's your uncle. Oh, he's coming in. Yeah, but he's a dwarf. And then the people are like, what? What? A dwarf? What the fuck? You know, like, why do you explain that shit to me earlier, dog? Oh fuck. Why are we in midget humor again? God damn it. Get out of that shit. It's not even that funny anymore. Yeah. To be honest, midget humor wasn't even that funny to begin with. I know some people are rolling with that, dwarf and midgets. I'm kind of like, look, guys, we got some, we got some spics, we got some bikinis, all right? That's a willow. No, you should call them spics, bikinis. Oh, fuck. You're doing like ethnic race words that don't even fucking exist. In real life, that's from Willow, dude. Fuck. 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 That's from a fantasy movie, dude. They don't call people spics and bikinis. Shit. Fucking bullshit. But have you ever seen a midget? Respect a midget. So that's a tough life. I mean, imagine having to get in your car and being a midget or a dwarf. Now, us dakinis can get into the car quite kind of easily because we're like bigger dudes, bigger people. But the little dwarf can't fucking get in, fucking have to fucking get in the car and get in. Imagine the dakini. I mean the midget. They have to little people. What? Fuck. Imagine how hard their life is, man. Are you doing? Are you really doing like 30 minutes of midget humor? No, I'm just telling you what happened with Uncle Eddie, dude. I'm not trying to talk about. I love midgets. All right, I'm not anti-midget. Every time I see a midget, I'm like, yeah. Maybe not that enthusiastically, but you know, I'm trying. I'm trying to get over the midget phobia or the dwarfophobia. You know what happened? So, if my grandma had just told me, "Hey, there's short people that look like adults," then I would have been like, "Oh, okay." But she was like, "Hey, your cousin Eddie's coming. He's a dwarf." And I was like, "Ah, fucking what? It's a dwarf. Ah, fucking." But Lord of the Rings kind of helped out. They had the dwarves and stuff, and Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. I helped it out, Dan. Grandma, don't traumatize me. I'm not really traumatized by short people. I'm just kidding.